Welcome back. We're continuing through Chapter 7, Resolving Conflict. And we mentioned in the last session, adversity, serving as sort of a depth gauge, growth through adversity. In this section, we're going to be talking about different models or options that we avail ourselves of to resolve conflict or attempt to resolve conflict. So this particular section I adapted out of Bob and Jan Horner's study guide, Resolving Conflict in Marriage. Excellent leader's guide that I used years ago in a married couple's small group. So here are the 4 choices in conflict. First of all is the popular fight to win. This is basically I win, you lose, I'm right, you're wrong. If both spouses have this style of conflict resolution, a lot of sparks will be flying and there'll be some really exciting battles in the marriage. But this is basically one person trying to dominate the other. And oftentimes if somebody was never really trained or taught how to handle things when they get wounded or when they're angry, they could very well just have this style just as a way of survival. Of course, we need to be taught how to, navigate through conflict in the right way, right? But fight to win is basically, yeah, I win, you lose. The second style is would be the spouse that tends to withdraw. This is basically just getting out of the process, just disappearing from the scene, basically. And couples that adapt this style will never really resolve issues. A formula often used in this scenario, if one or both spouses have this style, is less time spent together equals less potential conflict. And so spouses can develop separate interests, spend less time together, and that kind of sort of keeps the peace. The problem is that transparency and honesty and depth of relationship will decrease in this scenario. The third one is to yield. And not exactly the same as withdrawing. This one here, the person's still in the process, but they're basically saying, fine, whatever you want, we'll do that. You want this, we'll do this. Let's stop arguing. And so the immediate conflict may be diffused, but it opens doors to the one that's yielding might develop a heart of bitterness and kind of store up anger inside, and then sometime down the road, it's going to boil over and explode at some point. And so this only defers the conflict. It doesn't solve it. So fight to win, withdraw, yield, and our winner, right, the best way is to lovingly confront one another. I care about our marriage. I care about you enough to work on resolving the issues. Let's figure this out. And so the way to lovingly confront, it involves 3 steps to successfully lovingly confront. The first one is to look inward. And this is based on Galatians 6:1, great scripture on relational connecting. It says, brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you too be tempted. And so if you want to correct your spouse or point something out to them, pray about it, be led by the Spirit, be gentle, and also keep watch on yourself. Make sure that you're not doing the same thing that you're calling them out on. This has happened to me. I want to say several times, probably many times over the past almost 4 decades of marriage. Oftentimes I've been caught red-handed when I'll correct Anne about something, maybe an attitude she had, or the way that she does a certain task, or anything at all. It could be minor, major, and then a few days later, a week later, I'll find myself doing the exact same thing I was critiquing her on. It's like, wow. Before I confront her on something, I'm going to make sure that I'm not doing the same thing. That wouldn't work very well, right? So look inward, first of all. Secondly, to successfully confront in love, Pick the right time and place. Now, if you've been married for a while, or if you've been engaged for a while, maybe you have enough historical insight and memory to know that it's better to not discuss things with your spouse in the car while driving. Maybe it's the best times you can remember are after a good meal, you're having a cup of coffee, you can sit down quietly and then discuss, right? Or, we're getting ready to go out, we're in the hallway, we're about to go out the door, and no, don't bring something up then. That's the worst time, it never works out. So be discerning, try to be a good student of your spouse, and pick the right time and place to lovingly confront them. And then thirdly, speak the truth in love. Speak the truth in love. And so here's kind of how the principle works to my understanding, that truth without love inflicts injury. So you can have the truth, accurate information, you could be correct in your evaluation of your spouse. Maybe they are doing some things wrong, maybe they are speaking incorrectly, but there's not love there, you're going to inflict injury on them. So truth without love inflicts injury. Flip side, love without truth robs the person of a chance to grow. So if you never make it known to your spouse, what you really want them to be aware of, maybe a blind spot that they have, if it's just love, 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 I don't want to offend them, and you never ever bring truth across the bridge into their life, you're robbing them of a chance to grow. And as best friends, we need to confront one another when necessary, and of course in the right way. So those are the different models. And in the discussion questions for this chapter, as every chapter has a discuss together section, in this chapter some of the discussion questions basically will ask you as a couple, what's your pattern? Do you lean more towards a fight to win, a yielder, a withdraw, or do you lovingly confront most of the time? What about the family you were raised in? What about your parents? How did they handle conflict? What particular pattern did you observe over and over again, year after year, in your family of origin? So questions like that help couples to discuss with one another so they can better resolve conflict in their relationship. So we'll also be talking about forgiveness and how to forgive, and also some guidelines in communication, how to talk to one another in the course of loving confrontation. So we'll see you next time. God bless.